our title today, as Phil mentioned, is Drug Policy Reform, a Christian Imperative? With a question mark? Surely it should be an exclamation point. 45 years ago, Marion Wright Edelman, head of the Children's Defense Fund, fighting the evils of segregation in Mississippi, used the phrase, "I have never forgotten." In this country, she said, we are condemning a people to servitude out of carelessness. And we are doing this very same thing in 2011. Fueled by the so-called war on drugs, we are condemning a whole population to social irrelevance. In the words of legal scholar Michelle Alexander, we have created a new Jim Crow. And I know many of you have seen this book, and those of you who haven't definitely should. And have you ever wondered, as I have, about what all of us would have done in the pre-Civil War South? How would we have reconciled slavery with our religious faith? What would we have ignored? What would we have rationalized? And we are faced with the same dilemma relating to drug arrests and convictions today, and our response, for the most part, is a resounding silence. Now you have a packet of material, thanks to Nancy Brand of our board and others, the staff who have put it together. But we have pulled out separately and put on your chairs several pages of the Illinois Disproportionate Justice Impact Commission report mandated by the Illinois General Assembly. And it's somewhat dense, but read it. Its findings are profoundly disturbing. They condemn us all. We have become a prisoner nation. We have more people in jail than China. Not per capita, more people. The primary cause is the number of people convicted for drug offenses. The impact of drug enforcement is profoundly unjust. Drug use is roughly constant across races. But in 2005, African Americans were over 9 times more likely to be incarcerated in prison or jail than whites. There are ways that we can and should respond. The new Cook County Board President is speaking out about alternative sentencing that would provide probation as an alternative to incarceration for first offenders. And I'm pleased that Meg Egan of the county president's policy staff is with us today. And in Springfield, State Senator Kwame Raoul introduced a bill drawing upon a model program from the state's attorney's office that would expand the alternative sentencing concept beyond drug offenses. The bill did not move forward this year, which is why we're here. We're here to make it move forward next year. And you have in your packets the titles and brief descriptions of legislation recommended by the Disproportionate Justice Impact Commission. One example, 60% of all arrests in Cook County are essentially false arrests. The charges are dropped for convictions not obtained for low-level drug use. But the arrests make people virtually unemployable. And H.R. 298 would enable judges to seal records in these cases. Also in your packet is a letter signed by prominent physicians in support of House Bill 30. This would legalize cannabis as medicine. It is an act of compassion and mercy for people who have found that their acute, intractable pain, which they live with every day, can be relieved in no other way. And that's a fact. And how does this bill relate to the war on drugs? Because the same prejudices and myths are used to attack it. Those who press the war on drugs, no matter how well intended, fail to see that prohibition causes far more problems than does the behavior it tries, often unsuccessfully, to prevent. Change will not happen without support from all of us. The biblical injunction is clear. What does the Lord require of you but to do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with your God? It's time to take these words seriously when it comes to drug policy in this country. If the church refuses to see what is happening, especially on the south and west sides of Chicago, how dare we call ourselves the church? If people of faith do not speak out, what then exactly is it that we do believe? Now, Stephen Wilcox will offer a remembrance of his father, and we will then hear from Larry Greenfield, PCG's editor and theologian in residence, make the case, the theological case, on why Christians should care about drug policy.